Alright guys, today I have a new project to work on. I have the HG-P407 Tamiya Bruiser clone. It's not technically a clone because it's made by the same manufacturer that made the 2012 Bruiser. It's made with the same molds and tooling. It's just they did not obtain the rights to use the name Toyota or Tamiya in the product, so they just kind of released their own somewhat questionable release. I don't know legally if they were allowed to do so, but I picked one up because it was a good deal, and I actually bought the black one. Everybody likes making fun of all the stickers, Toyota, and the driver Cheng Xing Wang, which I think is hysterical. Other than how they word things, you know, function forward, backward. Why did they have to put a space there? Turn left, turn right. And the fact that they can't spell differentials. Lockable afferentials. That makes perfect sense. But anyway, enough laughing at the box. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Let's see what we got. And once you remove the upper clamshell of the packaging, your battery's going to fall out. You have a 1500 milliamp 7.4 volt lithium polymer battery, which doesn't really weigh anything, which leads you to believe this is mostly empty. I think this is what's inside there. 1500 milliamp 7.4 volt lithium polymer battery. So this feels about the same weight as this. Just has a hard case. Also, you're going to have one of these European style chargers, which I can't use because I live in the States, so goodbye. Next we have our decal sheet, which I don't think I could really use any of this. I like the Bruiser license plate, but I don't like any of the Toyota stuff, and even if it did say Toyota, I'm not going to put it on here because it's not the white script. I don't want the red letters on my truck. That would just kind of look weird. So I'm going to see if maybe I can find somebody to make some white Toyota script to go along the back. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I guess let's get the truck pulled out. Let's get the transmitter out. Wow, that really doesn't weigh anything. That's a pretty good weight. I see there's some rust down here in the packaging, so that's not good. I'm going to need to pull everything apart and just paint everything really good, I guess. And for the sake of the video, I'll unwrap the body and the tires, even though I will not be using these. I don't like this body. I don't like the wheels and tires. I'm actually going to get another body. I want the one for the high lift, one that doesn't have this back cab cap and has the back window. Because if you take this off, it's just open into the truck. There's no back of the cab, which is really, really bizarre. Need some Chinese toilet paper here, just to not damage anything. This feels kind of oily. Everything feels really oily. That is quite unpleasant to touch. I don't know why they wrap these. Went ahead and opened the garage door to get a little bit more natural light, but now we have to listen to people weed eating their yard. Here's a fairly close look at the body and some of the structure that holds the differentials in. Leaf springs. Everybody says you need to remove one leaf spring, and then there's a spring up here as well you need to remove, and then reseal your shocks before you can use them because they didn't seal them properly. But I mean, for the price you get, I mean, there's going to be some work needed. Oh yeah, here's some oil that was running down off of that plastic down the window. Rear view mirrors, somewhat adjustable. There is some differences in color here where that plastic was. It looks like maybe it has... maybe it'll shine up. It almost looks like it's oxidized the plastic. Oh well, I was planning on painting this one anyway, if I decide to keep the body. Let's pop the body off and see what we have inside. I'm going to be getting rid of these body mounts. I'm going to bolt it down in the rear, or screw it down anyway. Well, that's pretty nice. Not much of an antenna. 540 motor. I do have another 540 motor that I might throw in there. I have a front servo mount on the way. It's being made by Ampro Engineering, and I also have the steering knuckle arm being 3D printed out of aluminum. So hopefully that will come in. I have new wheels and tires coming in that are not these ugly ag tires. I really just don't have any love for ag tires. I just don't. I don't like them. Especially not on a Toyota. It just feels wrong. So I got some better scale tires coming in. Alright guys, fast forward a couple hours. I've gone ahead and I've locked the diffs. I've tested them out, and this thing's pretty impressive actually. Lots of torque. Pull the body pins out. Carefully set them over here where I won't lose them. I did have one issue with it, or well, one thing I really didn't like, so I went ahead and changed it. Put the body over here in my fancy chair I got from Harbor Freight. I didn't like the stock motor it came with. I love that it's a 540, but that fan didn't inspire confidence. It has burrs all over it, and what the heck are these wires that are sticking out of it? Is this something they just forgot to cut off? Because they were all touching the metal, and it seemed like it was getting kind of hot. That didn't seem right. So I got rid of this, and I had a RS540 sport tuned motor on hand that I've just kind of had in my parts box for a while. So I went ahead and put it on there. The shaft is a little bit shorter on the Tamiya motor, so I didn't need the shim that was in there with that junky motor. So now maybe we'll be able to do something cool with it. And I also forgot to look over the remote earlier. It's very light until you put the batteries in it, and then it's still light. I'll close this door. It's very well put together though. No funny gaps. The wheel feels really good. Nice foam on there. And then there's the dual rate for the steering, which will, when you set it, turn it back, it will keep the wheel from turning too far. So if it's hitting the stops, you can turn this down so you don't burn out your steering servo. Then you have the reverse switches for reversing everything. Let's see which one of these actually is the steering trim. I don't hear anything happening there. Okay, so that one really is the steering trim. We have two of them. I don't know what this does. That might be the shifter, so I may have just screwed everything up. Don't know what bind mode is, so I have some more research to do. Of course, I've never had anything like this before. This is how you shift your transmission. This is four-wheel drive low, two-wheel low, and then two-wheel high. And you can hear it shifting every time I do that. I'll set it up on the tripod and show you how that works. Okay, holding on to the frame rails, obviously. This is four-wheel drive low, and it goes decent speed. Then when you switch into two-wheel drive low, shift into two-wheel drive. And you can shift it on the fly. So I can put it in high. So yeah, this is completely different than anything I've ever had. I have had those WPL cars, and you never can get those things working right. I mean, these things were cool and all for a little while. I'm really into the scale appearance, but gosh, you have to fix them every day. And you know, the bearings keep blowing out, so it's always broken. I mean, once a cheap truck, always a cheap truck. It doesn't matter if you throw $300 at it over the course of a year, and then you puke in your mouth when you realize just how much you spent on it, and you're still driving a pile of trash. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to set up a few obstacles, and we're going to see just how powerful this thing really is. I'll give you a hint. I went driving it through the house earlier, and I was going to bump one of the kitchen chairs. My daughter was sitting at the table doing her homework. I went to bump one of the chairs, and I may have given it a little too much throttle, and it shoved the chair into the table and slid the table all the way across the room. And this is a pretty high metal kitchen table with, you know, stools. So that was pretty impressive, actually. I did not think it could do that. I still haven't put my windshield wipers on. I did fill the diffs with some Tamiya grease. I had 2 tubes of it on hand, so I figured might as well, because I am going to put this thing through hell. Absolutely through hell. Let's take a nice close look at the undercarriage of the truck. You got your skid plate, front diff. I like how that will largely keep dirt out. Ball and cup setup, love it. Drive shafts are really nice. There's still a little speck of rust on that one. That's okay. There's actually a diff built in down here as well, so the front spins independently from the rear. I really do like that. So the transfer case is pretty awesome. Cross members also metal frame rails, metal links here. Then you have stacked leaf springs, which they recommend taking the smallest leaf spring out from each side because they're pretty stiff. And I don't like the bumpers, so I'm probably going to try to find something else, maybe add a winch to it. Alright. They do recommend that you pull this spring off this exterior shaft, because that just makes it too bouncy. And then you have to pull the shock out, and you have to put a new O-ring on the inside and put a shim in there so it'll seal right, or all the oil will leak out the way it is. It's just small finishing touches, really. I mean, you could always just replace the shocks, but I don't mind doing these small little touches because, I mean, come on. I paid like $219 for this truck. I don't mind doing some finishing work. It's not a $600 truck. Hell, it's not even one of the $1,200 trucks. So, we're going to put this thing through its paces tomorrow. Let's lower the body back onto it for now. Take another quick look here. You can undo the bed. You can unbolt the interior, detail that. Some metal bracketry up here around the headlights. You can put lights in the headlights, tail lights, turn signals. Everything has a little holder for it. I don't really like the side rails. I may get rid of those, find some different boards. Lots of videos showing the interior, which I will be painting that. It looks really bad. I wish they just sold the back cab with the window, so when you took this off it wasn't just open. So I'm probably just going to have to get a different body that already has that, like the high lift body already has that with the roll bar, and I like that look. So this body I'm not going to be keeping, so hopefully I can keep from damaging it until then, and maybe I could just sell it to somebody. I'm sure somebody could use a scalar Toyota truck body for something. Quick look at the rims themselves here. Probably going to remove the chrome from them. I don't really like the shininess. Either that or I'll try to use some Scotch-Brite and just stay in one direction, of course, but give it that kind of brushed look. And then paint the hub black. There she is. Let me know what you think of it. I'm surprised at how well it's put together. I mean, yeah, the chroming isn't very good, or even subpar. It's terrible. The chrome's terrible. Let's just face it. You're going to be painting the parts, but this is totally a Tamiya Bruiser. Every bit of it. So, stay tuned for more. I should have another upload soon, putting it through its paces. Give me a like if you liked this video, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.